History of Joseph. Joseph from the Bible is a significant figure primarily featured in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. He was the beloved son of the patriarch Jacob and was instrumental in fulfilling God's plan through his prophetic dreams. His story illustrates God's grace, forgiveness, and sovereign will. Birth and early life. Joseph was the first son born to Jacob's wife Rachel, making him the 11th of Jacob's 12 sons. Jacob loved Joseph more than his other sons, because he was born to him in his old age. To show this affection, Jacob made him a coat of many colors. This favoritism led to jealousy and resentment from his brothers. Joseph was also a dreamer. Once he dreamed that his brother's sheaves of grain bowed down to his sheaf. Another time he dreamed that the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. When he told these dreams to his brothers and their father Jacob, it further fueled their jealousy and anger, causing his brothers to hate him. Sold into slavery. One day, Joseph went to bring food to his brothers who were tending sheep. When his brothers saw him, they conspired to kill him. However, due to the intervention of Reuben and Judah, his life was spared, and he was thrown into a deep pit nearby. Later, when Midianite traders passed by, they sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver and took him to Egypt. His brothers then deceived their father, Jacob, by dipping Joseph's coat in goat's blood and lying that a wild animal had killed him. Enslavement in Egypt. Upon arriving in Egypt, Joseph was bought by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's guard. By God's blessing, everything Joseph did prospered in Potiphar's household. And Potiphar put him in charge of his entire house and all his possessions. However, Potiphar's wife tried to seduce Joseph. When Joseph refused her advances, she falsely accused him, leading to Joseph being thrown into prison. Even in prison, God was with Joseph, and he gained favor with the jailer. While there, he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, accurately predicting their futures. The cupbearer was released, while the baker was executed, becoming the most powerful man in Egypt. 2 years later, Pharaoh had 2 disturbing dreams. In the first dream, he saw 7 thin and ugly cows devour 7 fat and healthy cows. In the second dream, he saw 7 thin and scorched ears of grain swallow 7 full and good ears of grain. When no one could interpret these dreams, the cupbearer remembered Joseph and spoke to Pharaoh about him. Pharaoh summoned Joseph and asked him about the dreams. Joseph replied, "God is showing Pharaoh what he is about to do." He explained that both dreams foretold 7 years of abundant harvest in Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. He advised Pharaoh to collect and store grain during the years of plenty to prepare for the famine. Seeing Joseph's wisdom and God's blessing upon him, Pharaoh appointed Joseph as the vizier of Egypt and put him in charge of all the food supply for the entire land. Reunion with family. As Joseph had prophesied, after 7 years of abundance in Egypt, 7 years of famine struck. This famine affected not only Egypt, but also surrounding regions, including Canaan. When Jacob's sons in Canaan faced a severe food shortage due to the famine, they came to Egypt to buy grain. Joseph's brothers did not recognize him, but Joseph recognized them. After testing his brothers, Joseph finally revealed his true identity. Although his brothers were filled with remorse and fear for their past actions, Joseph forgave them, explaining it as God's plan. He told them, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." With Pharaoh's permission, Joseph then arranged for his father Jacob and his entire family to move and settle in the land of Goshen in Egypt, where he provided for them during the famine. Death. Joseph lived to be 110 years old and experienced God's blessing throughout his life. Before his death, he made his people promise to carry his bones with them when they eventually left Egypt during the Exodus. This showed his faith in God's promise to bring the Israelites to the promised land. Legacy. Joseph's story demonstrates that God's sovereign plan can be fulfilled even through the sinful actions of humans. It provides powerful lessons on forgiveness, faithfulness, trusting in God. His life clearly shows how God exalted him through trials and suffering, making him a blessing to many. If you'd like to learn more about the history of prominent figures from the Bible, please subscribe to this channel.